Hi, I'm Kyla, and this is KP's Cookies. Today, in honor of fall, I'm making pumpkin spice latte cookies. Welcome to my kitchen. Let's get started. The best part of fall, to me at least, are the smells that come out of the kitchen. So today's recipe is going to be full of all sorts of spices and flavors that will make you think of falling leaves. Now, one of the neat parts about today's recipe is that it's vegan, which means it contains absolutely no animal-made ingredients. That includes things like dairy or even honey. So we're actually going to be making substitutes for things like butter, for things like eggs. In this particular recipe, I'm going to be using a vegan butter substitute. Earth Balance is the brand that I'm using just because it contains absolutely no hydrogenated oils. I'm still subbing the exact amount that I would use for butter as my base. All right, put that in there. And just like butter, I'm going to let it soften and then cream it. Before adding in my sugar. In this one, I'm actually going to be doing 2 parts white sugar to 1 part dark brown sugar, which I'm going to add to the butter. And I will cream that as well. During this time of year, this particular brand of pumpkin is probably the most ubiquitous as well as the most sought after. I know a couple years ago there was a great pumpkin shortage that led bakers like myself into a frenzy. But this year, I think we're doing all right. So this is Libby's brand. There's also a really great organic brand that Whole Foods carries that I also use when I'm making my cookies. So what we're going to be doing into this cream, butter, and sugar mixture is actually adding in a whole can of pumpkin. So that nice, beautiful orange color in there. It's also going to help substitute for the egg in the recipe. So get that in without making too much of a mess. Cream that along with the mixture. I'm also going to be using another vegan egg substitute, which is applesauce. I'm using unsweetened, all-natural applesauce. Nothing added. It's exactly what it sounds like. You can use applesauce, flax seeds, or if you prefer to use a egg replacer like Energy, you can do that as well. But I like applesauce for this particular recipe, so that's what we're going to mix in. As always, I like to add in lots of vanilla, so I'm going to do that. Make sure it's nice and sweet. Okay, and that does it for my wet ingredients. And now comes the fun part. So for this recipe, I'm going to be adding in a bunch of spices. Rather than just getting a generic pumpkin pie spice from the Publix, which is our supermarket in Florida, or your regular grocery store, I've actually combined several spices to create that pumpkin pie spice taste. Things like cloves, ginger, nutmeg, a little bit of allspice and cinnamon, of course. But because this is a pumpkin spice latte, I've added an espresso. So go ahead and mix that in. Make sure there are no spice pockets so that it's all even. Then I'm going to go ahead and put in the leavening. For this one, it's 1 part salt to 2 parts baking soda and 2 parts baking powder. And last but certainly not least, lots of flour because we do have a very wet mixture here. So I'll go ahead and do that. I would would have to say that the very, very best part about making vegan cookies, at least for the home baker, is that because they contain absolutely no animal-derived products and eggs not looking at you, you can actually just eat the dough raw without having to worry about fun things like salmonella. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these cookies onto the baking sheet. I'm going to pop them in the oven. If I can avoid eating them all before I even bake them. And now into our preheated oven we go. Alright, it's go time. Gorgeous. And of course, what are pumpkin pie spice? Of course, what are pumpkin spice latte cookies without a little bit of glaze? So, we're going to be making a glaze using vegan margarine once again. I'm going to be putting in a little bit of espresso powder, a little bit of vanilla, and some soy milk. I'm going to finish that off with some confectioner sugar, known also to the French toast crowd as powdered sugar. So, got a little bit measured out of here already. So, go ahead and mix that in and make a nice glaze. When the cookies are finished, we're going to dunk them in the glaze. Now, I have to admit that I'm not above bribery and that I did make these cookies with an ulterior motive in mind. You see, my sister lives about 3 hours away from me, and I happen to know that she just went vegan like I did a couple months ago. I also happen to know that Pumpkin Spice Latte Day at Starbucks is actually considered a national holiday in her book. So these vegan pumpkin spice latte cookies were actually created as a bribe to get her to come and visit me, because I miss her. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching KP's Cookies, where I show you how to make cookies with love in every bite. And remember, love is FDA approved, and it is recommended as a part of your healthy diet. So let me know if you want a batch. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.